Ladies and gentlemen, today I am extremely sad and very unpleased to report that the Young Turks, specifically Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie's show under the TYT banner, very much a part of TYT, ran a segment just a couple of days ago on their program that is some of the worst, most blatant, disgusting, horrible, deplorable pro-police propaganda that I've ever seen. The biggest problem that I have with this is TYT's platform and their position of we're different than the mainstream media. Cenk likes to get on his show, Anna, everybody, most of the TYT hosts like to get on their shows and position themselves as different than the mainstream media. Okay? If you're going to say that, you need to be that. And this right here, this is Sharon Reed, who I believe does Dr. Rashad Ritchie's program once a week. She hosts Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, which is, again, is under the TYT banner, very much so. I believe one time a week. They ran this segment, Cop Helps Black Teen with Wardrobe Meltdown Before School Dance. And they mention a police officer by the name of Brendan Linebarger, who we're going to go over his very extremely problematic history, specifically with a black business owner in the area where he is a police officer. But before we do that, we're going to watch just a brief clip here of TYT engaging in, again, some of the worst, most blatant, disgusting, deplorable pro-police propaganda that I've seen. I'm saying that especially because they say, we're different than mainstream media. No, you're not. You're not different than mainstream media. You can't claim that shit anymore. That's a load.
Cops help a black teen with his tie
This is Brendan Linebarger. Remember that name.
before a school dance. Well, this one is warm and fuzzy and real.
It's not.
Pennsylvania. Officer Brendan Linebarger of Pitcairn Police Department helped the young teen tie his tie before a school dance. You remember going to your first dance, how important it is? You don't know how to tie the tie. Maybe there's no one to help you. Here's the background. A lady they called Dee took her son Z to the police station requesting a citizen assist. By definition, these are non-emergency calls requested by a person that could range from anything like a noise complaint to lost property. The route with the details here. In this case, Detective Caruso was dispatched to respond to the call and learned upon arrival that the request was to help Dee's son with a wardrobe meltdown.
I'm going to be honest. If I was in this situation and I had a child or I needed to have my tie tied, I have a fiance. She is the most wonderful fiance I could possibly ask for. She is gifted enough that she knows how to tie a tie. I don't know how to tie a tie. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to tie a tie myself. I'm not going to lie about that. But if I was in the situation where it's dance night, my kid or me, I'm going to the dance, whatever, someone needs a tie tied, I'm looking up a motherfucking YouTube video. I'm not driving my child to the police station before the dance. That is so much harder than looking up a YouTube video or looking up anything, a WikiHow for fucking sake, on how to do something. This is one of those stories that the police, they even got on Facebook and shared it, and they even cover that later in this segment. They're trying to make the police seem like, oh, they're good, you can trust them. They try to find even the littlest thing and say, well, the police are good, look at this feel-good police story. No. And when we go over, again, Brendan Linebarger's very problematic history here in just 1 second, it's going to be only a couple more seconds I play of this segment, you're going to see why all of these things I'm saying are correct.
He didn't know how to tie his necktie for the school dance. Dee didn't know how. And seemingly Caruso, too. Now what? Well, she called Officer Brendan Linebarger for backup. And he came on the scene. He offered to tie it for him, teaching him how to loop, tuck, pull, or whatever you're supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
He even made sure it was the perfect length right at the belt line. These are things I didn't know.
Yeah, these are things that you didn't know. Sure. So number one, this kid doesn't even look like he wants to be here. He clearly doesn't want to be standing in between these two police officers. Again, I'm sure that he was not happy that his mother drove him to the police station to have his tie tied before his dance. But something that TYT does not go over here, and I only played 1:15 of that clip. It's a 5-minute segment, excuse me. But in this clip, they don't go over anything that I'm about to talk about here. But Brendan Linebarger and the Pitcairn Police Department, they're special. I'm just kidding. They're actually not special. They're very, very textbook white police officers or white police department officers. Police officer denies he targeted Pitcairn business owner after she criticized department's racial practices online. Excuse me. Let me shrink this down so you guys can see this article here. The person at the center of this story is Allison Calloway, a female black business owner. An Allegheny County police officer has denied he targeted a Pitcairn business owner with racial discrimination, harassment, code violations, and false prosecution after he publicly criticized the police's perceived use of violence on black citizens on social media. Brendan Linebarger is involved directly in this story, so bear with me here as I go over all of this, because all of this is extremely important, because in this entire segment, once again, TYT does not one time at all, even once, bring up any of these things I'm about to talk about. Allison Calloway first filed suit in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania on February 3rd, 2022, versus the borough of Pitcairn, its mayor Margaret Stivic, its police chief Scott Farrelly, its code enforcement officer Nick Turner, Pitcairn police officer Brendan Linebarger, the one in the story TYT featured, and Allegheny County police officer William Good. Calloway is a black resident and business owner in Pitcairn, Pennsylvania. On or about November 17, 2020, Calloway publicly via Facebook criticized the Pitcairn police for violence against black people and had received media attention and social media fame for those criticisms, the suit said. Upon information and belief, including but not limited to the fact that defendants Stivic, Turner, and Farrelly, as well as people personally and or professionally connected to the defendants, have commented on Calloway's Facebook posts, which are critical of law enforcement, defendants were aware of her public criticisms. After Calloway's November 17, 2020 criticism, the Pitcairn police engaged in a retaliatory campaign of harassment of Calloway. Calloway alleged this harassment took several forms, including everything I am about to read is what these police officers, including Brendan Linebarger, did after Allison Calloway, an innocent black business owner, publicly criticized this police department on Facebook. Turner, who upon information and belief was acting at the behest of Stivic and or Farrelly, on numerous occasions harassed Calloway and interfered with her businesses by trying to force her to remove her sign from businesses while not targeting the substantially similar signs on businesses owned by white people. Turner, who upon information and belief was acting at the behest of Stivic, attempted to have Calloway's landlord evict her. Again, bear with me, Linebarger gets, he's farther down in the story. Turner, who upon information and belief was acting at the behest of Stivic and or Farrelly, attempted to convince the Monroe fire inspector to wrongfully fail Calloway's inspection. On January 19, 2021, Pitcairn police and Good knowingly caused Calloway to be falsely charged without probable cause and knowledge of actual innocence with felony hindering, prosecution and misdemeanor tampering with evidence. Calloway was found not guilty at trial. Shortly before Calloway's trial on August 21, 2021, and upon Stivic's instruction, Turner demanded to be allowed to search Calloway's store premises, falsely claiming that he was investigating a crime. Upon information and belief, one of the defendants and or someone at the defendant's direction have repeatedly called Children and Youth Services on Calloway, making a variety of false claims that Calloway is committing child abuse. In or around summer 2021, Stivic approached Calloway and falsely told Calloway that a business owner was complaining about chalk on the sidewalk. Stivic did not know that Calloway was the owner of said business. Upon learning same, Stivic stated, "Today it's chalk, tomorrow it's graffiti." In or around September 2021, Farrelly and illegally and without a warrant or probable cause or permission searched Calloway's businesses. Shortly before her trial, Calloway was again falsely charged without probable cause and knowledge or actual innocence by Pitcairn police, specifically Brendan Linebarger, with misdemeanor institutional vandalism and other summary offenses. Various Pitcairn police officers parking their cars in front of one of Calloway's two businesses, and in particular blocking entry to one of her businesses. On one of those occasions, when Calloway asked the officers not to block the entrance to her store, she was told by one of the officers that, quote unquote, his directive was to sit here. Upon information and belief, including but not limited to the fact that Stivik stated, there are too many African Americans here. Some or all of the actions of defendants complained of in this lawsuit are because Calloway is black. In addition to that, Calloway engaged in protected activity under the First and Sixth Amendments, the suit stated. Now, unfortunately, as far as I know, and as far as the information I have publicly available to me about this case, as of this time, I do believe that Allison Calloway was actually not able to move forward with this suit because there's, I guess, in the area she lives in, there's a specific time frame. This is what the law states. There is a specific time frame in which she should file proper charges against these officers, and I guess she didn't file those charges in time, so the suit, this specific suit that I'm reading to you now, has not or did not move forward, which, again, I don't agree with that. I think that that sucks. I don't think that there should be a time limit on something like that. I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. But, again, I'm at the very least glad that I was made aware of this through TYT's absolutely disgusting, deplorable propaganda that they're running here on their channel. And again, they didn't talk about this at all. They don't talk about this. They link to an article that I actually read about this after I saw this, but I didn't even know they linked this in the description when I first saw this. I had to re-record this video because my audio was messed up, unfortunately, on the first one. But TYT wants to say, well, we're different than the mainstream media, but when you go and look up Brendan Linebarger's name, most of the stuff regarding him is from this story where he's tying this necktie for this black youth, okay? TYT wants to position themselves, a Sunny 101.7, an iHeart radio station, I don't know where they're based out of, and The Root also covered it. There's one other one that I was having trouble finding. I had it on my phone, but I don't have it here. But TYT, you know, you want to say you're different than mainstream media. Well, we're different. We don't do this. We don't do that. We don't engage in the same tactics as mainstream media. Yes, the fuck you do. Yes, you do. You engage in the exact same shit. You are just as bad. You are just as guilty as mainstream media. This is garbage. This is trash. This is the worst type of propaganda I have ever seen. Do not sit there and fucking position yourself as being different or the alternative to mainstream media when you engage in the exact fucking same fucking type of shitty-ass propaganda that they engage in. I don't want to hear Jenk or Anna or Rashad or Ben or fucking, I don't care who the fuck is on there. I don't want to hear any of them ever again say, well, this is different, we're different than this, or call these other people out. I don't even know what to say. I don't even have anything else to say about this. This is disgusting. It pisses me off. I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know how they can sit there. Actually, I don't know how they can sit there in front of their crew, in front of their camera, in front of their fucking audience, in front of their fucking audience that sits there and watches them to cover certain issues and do shit like this. Anytime, any fucking time something like this happens, the police, and they even, right here, this is also something I should have probably brought up before, they even talk about the Pitcairn Police Department on Facebook talking about this. Anytime anything like this happens, cops want this to go out to the media. They want to position themselves as well, you can trust us. Excuse me. You can trust us. You can do this. You can do that. Don't be scared of us. Anything, even the smallest thing. They want to turn anything they can into a positive police story. That's what the police want to do. And the TYT falls for this goddamn trap. Once again, it's just like the Anna Kasparian thing. You are falling right into the worst kind of, it's the easiest to see type of trap. Stop. Just stop. You have to fucking be better. You have to be better. I'm sorry, but you have to be. And I know that a lot of people got turned off from TYT because of the Anna Kasparian turf thing. I get that. And I know that that's a very real fact. I don't have anything else to say about it. Let me know what you think of the comments down below. Like the video, hit the subscribe button, press the bell, turn on notifications so you guys don't miss one.